Hey everybody, I'm Paul Esden Jr., aka Boy Green. Welcome to the Man Shout Show with Boy Green Digital. It's time to go behind enemy lines, baby. Syracuse football is officially back, and boy, do they have a hell of an opponent to start this season. It is the Tennessee Volunteers, and to help us learn a little bit more about them, and first, I want to mention that we're brought to you by Play It Again Sports Syracuse, sustainable gear at a great value. We've got a special guest joining us on today's show. He's the owner and host of the Swain event. Host of Josh and Swain, weekdays 12 to 3 on 99.1 The Sports Animal, but you guys will know him best as one of the best receivers in Tennessee Volunteers history. Jayson Swain graces us with his presence. What's up, Jayson?
What's going on, man? Thank you for having me today.
Of course, absolutely. So let's get right into it here. I would imagine Tennessee Volunteer fans are buzzing. You know, I know they didn't get the result they wanted, but going to the college football playoff, all the winning seasons that Tennessee has had in recent memory, I imagine the energy is palpable heading here into 2025.
Yeah, it's football time in Tennessee, and this time of the year, everyone's excited. No different this year, although I mean there's some changes in the off season, and people are kind of waiting to see what happens and how this team is going to perform.
That's for sure. Again, we're going to have Syracuse and Tennessee, part of the Aflac kickoff on ABC at noon at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium there for the Syracuse football team and Tennessee as they start the season here. Let's get into some of those changes. It's been, I don't even want to put a word. I don't even want to feed you a word that it's been. You tell me how it's been. There's been a lot of changes to your point. Let's start there.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say it's unpredictable because of the age of college football that we're in. But Tennessee lost their starting quarterback, a guy that they put all the eggs in his basket, and he transferred right before the spring game. And so when that happened, Tennessee had to go to the portal, and so happened to make a trade with UCLA
Yeah, right.
for Joey Aguilar, who was a transfer from Appalachian State, ton of experience, and he's used to playing against some big teams when he was at Appy State, but this will be his first time playing in the SEC with this type of competition. So the experience is certainly, I think, a positive for Tennessee and Josh Heupel, but a lot of people are kind of waiting to see how he's going to perform. There's a true freshman quarterback that was, a five-star player in George McIntyre, and then second string guy that got beat out for the job, Jake Merklinger, that came in with Nico Iamaleava. So there's three guys at Tennessee right now that's never made a start for Tennessee,
Wow.
and only one guy has taken snaps for Tennessee, and that was in some junk time last year. So there's a lot of questions around the quarterback position for sure.
All right, Jayson, lay it to me straight here. You're a former college football superstar, for God's sake. So, what do you think about all this NIL business? Because that's the thing with Nico from the outside. Again, I'm not in there in Tennessee, so you could speak better to it. But it seems like it was an NIL situation, a miscommunication, or whatever way you guys want to describe it for what happened there, and then he ends up leaving out. How about you? This is a brand new world here in 2025. What do you make of it?
I mean, I love the players getting paid. I do think that it's opened up some pitfalls where you have people around the players. It could be parents, it could be agents, it could be whoever that are advising these players, and it's not always the best advice. Sometimes it is the best advice, but the opportunity to earn money, I mean, it's something I always get behind. With Nico, it wasn't necessarily NIL per se,
Okay.
but it was the supporting cast around Nico, giving him some bad advice, not handling the situation they should have the way they should have handled it, and it led to Nico leaving and going to a place where he's going to make significantly less money, play in an inferior conference, and not have the supporting cast around him to be able to win. But hey, hopefully he bounces back from it. He's an unbelievable talent, and I hope he tears it up out there at UCLA.
Jayson, what would your advice be right now to the college football athlete entering the world today?
Keep the main thing the main thing. I mean, if you are looking to play at the next level and you have that talent, understand that the money in college, I mean, that's great. It's more than I'm sure you've ever made before, and so don't allow that short term money to cloud your judgment and make you think that you've arrived and made it. Now, if you want to stop there, it's fine, but it's really not a lot of money when you think about it. Now, growing up poor, you get that money, it's a lot, but there's opportunity to make 5 times, 10 times more than that if you keep the main thing the main thing. And that is practicing the right way, creating the best habits, being the best teammates, getting better every day, not getting complacent because the money at the NFL level is a whole lot more for some guys. But there's a lot of guys, honestly, Paul, that hey man, they're not going to play at the NFL, and so their opportunity to make money is at the collegiate level, and they should maximize it. But don't let it get in the way of being a great teammate, being a great you know player for your program, for your team. Think about the long term opportunities. I'll use myself as an example. 4-year player. I was a captain my last year. I'm from the state of Alabama, but I was able to come back to Knoxville, finish my degree, and launch a career that has been great for me and my family. I have 3 kids, and I'm in this business, and only because I took care of my reputation. I did things the right way, and I thought about the long term future instead of just the short term.
All right, Jason, be honest with me. Did you ever think you were going to come as a player to the dark side of the force over here in the media? Huh? Is it as bad as you thought it was?
I never thought the media was the dark side.
Oh, okay, good.
I'm not one of those that puts the media in a place like they're the enemy. I never believed that. I definitely don't believe it now. The media tells a story for the players. It tells a story for the team and allows the fans to be able to keep up with their team. And so there's a very important place for the media. And I understood that as a player, and I understood it now. I understand it now. There are some negatives of the media, but if you do your job correctly, which is to be transparent and to be open and tell it like you see it, and without being too biased. I'm biased naturally because I played at Tennessee,
right?
But that doesn't stop me from telling the truth because the people deserve that, and you owe that to them.
It sounds like you take great pride in that in your role here as a media member.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I first got started, the motivation was to tell the story of the student athlete because the media was telling it for them, and I felt like they needed someone, a voice to speak from experience about what they went through and what it's like to be on that stage. But now, I mean, athletes can now speak for themselves more because of social media. But the approach hasn't changed, man. You tell the truth, you be respectful, you be honest, you be, try to be open and looking at both sides of an argument. And I've been able to do that for 15 plus years.
Wow, they did a hell of a job picking the voice. You got some strong pipes there, Jayson Swain, for the love of everything that's holy. So appreciate having you here on the program here. And let's get back to it because Syracuse is experiencing the same thing in terms of a quarterback competition and a thing changing because Kyle McCord goes over to the National Football League. So they had a quarterback competition of their own. I'm curious, in Tennessee land, was it always going to be Joey? Was it close? Was it not? What's the conversation there? You said there's a lot of bodies in the room.
Well, Jake Merklinger, Tennessee's backup quarterback, was he's been here. This is the second year inside of the system. With Joey Aguilar coming in May, you felt like Jake had the advantage. But when Nico Iamaleava left a couple days before spring game, and it was really Jake Merklinger and George McIntyre, the true freshmen, competing at the orange and white game. That was an opportunity for Jake to really just take over and put his stamp on the starting quarterback job. And, he was unable to do that, which allowed the door to be wide open for Joey Aguilar to come in, even though he came in May, which is super late, learn the system, develop chemistry with his players and the camaraderie with his players and guys in the locker room. And in the first scrimmage, I didn't really see the distance between the two quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But the second scrimmage, it was clear that Joey Aguilar was a better quarterback. He had a great day, and he was named the starting quarterback not too long ago. And so, it's not close anymore, but, it was before. And that's simply because Joey just didn't understand fully the offense. He's still learning it, but that was, I think, a big part of why he didn't separate in the first scrimmage.
And to make a comparison to the National Football League, the Indianapolis Colts named Daniel Jones their starting quarterback. And then they came out and said, not only is he the starting quarterback, he's the guy for the season. We're all in, basically, on Daniel Jones. In a quarterback competition like this, I'm curious, has there been that same level of emphaticness? Is there an incredibly long leash for Joey as he heads into the season for Tennessee, do you think?
Yeah, I don't know if Tennessee's going to take that approach that the Colts took with Daniel Jones by declaring that he's a starter for the entire season. I think for Tennessee, you want Joey to feel good
I
about
see
being a
what you're saying.
starter and not looking over his shoulder. You want him to, play within himself and play confident. If you make a mistake, not worry about being taken out. The mistakes are going to happen. I mean, it's just kind of part of it. You just hope it doesn't cost you the game, and you're able to bounce back from it. Football is a complementary game. So you have a defense that was, top 10, top 15 national last year that should be just as good, and then you have a special teams unit that should complement the offense as well too. That's looking to improve from last year as well. So, yeah, I mean, if he plays bad, if he gets hurt, obviously he's not going to play. But you don't tell him that, and I don't think there has been any indication that that he's the guy no matter what. Like he's the guy right now, and hey man, go out there and play well.
There you go. The pressure's on. Let me ask you this. What has been different? So Josh Heupel comes in, and it seems like there's been immediate results. Before he took over, Tennessee had 3 losing seasons in 4 years and 8-13, which seems crazy to say out loud. But he's taken over, bing, boom, bam. He's solved the formula. Why? What has been different about him?
Well, I mean, I think the first thing was that he addressed the culture. I mean, the previous coaching staff told players what they couldn't do. And sometimes that works, when you're coaching. But Heupel made guys believe they can do anything. And so that was the first thing, man, just building that culture, the trust. I mean, they were behind with the scholarship reductions and things like that because of the previous coaching staff and the sanctions that were levied on them. But Heupel had some pieces that he was able to work with from prior. His system worked, and those guys played together, and he's been able to turn things around. So it really starts with the culture, and man, the coaching staff, Heupel's done a good job with his system. It's worked so far.
Jason, what the hell is culture? People say that word all the time. What does that mean?
Understanding the standard, not taking shortcuts, guys willing to hold each other accountable, guys willing to be unselfish, understand that it's about the team. And if the team has success, then everyone eats, everyone's successful. That's culture. I mean, Tennessee right now is dealing with their all conference preseason DB, Boo Carter. And because he did not do the things that he needed to do during the summer, he is not 100% active, or his status is not like everyone else's. So he's been held accountable. In past, maybe a guy is able to get away with things like that. And when that happens, it fractures the locker room and makes guys think that everyone is not held to the same standard. And they start to feel like, well, why show up? Why be on time? Why do this if it doesn't matter in the long run? So the culture is important, and you gotta be willing to hold your best players accountable. And Josh Heupel has done that, and so that's an example of culture. But it's worked so far for Tennessee.
Yeah, there's no question about it. Again, this Behind Enemy Line segment talking Syracuse and Tennessee is brought to you by our friends over at Play It Again Sports Syracuse. Let's take 30 seconds to learn more about it.
Warm weather sports season is here, and if you want to gear up and save money on some of the top brands of golf, soccer, and baseball equipment, and much more, Play It Again Sports can be your solution. With both new and gently used gear, Play It Again has prices way less than regular retail stores. And for all you golfers out there, get some quick money for those clubs you've got stashed away and are collecting dust. Play It Again is always looking for quality gear. No appointment necessary. Just bring it into the store. Play It Again Sports in the DeWitt Town Center on Erie Boulevard. Don't spend more. Play it again. Play It Again Sports Syracuse.com.
Yes, we're speaking with Jayson Swain here, baby. Weekdays 12 to 3 on 99.1, the sports animal, Tennessee Volunteers former captain, as you mentioned earlier in our conversation here. So, Jason, what are expectations for Tennessee heading into the season with, as we've mentioned so far, so much change all over the place?
I mean, from a win-loss record standpoint, I mean, the goal here at Tennessee is to continue to get double-digit wins in the regular season. But I do think with all the youth that Tennessee is going to play this year, very talented players, but experienced and very young, and then the situation with quarterback. The line early in the season before the spring was at Tennessee 9.5, and since Nico left and you brought in Joey, that line has dropped to 8.5 as far as regular season wins. And so there's people in the fan base that feel like Tennessee can win 8 or 9. There's some that feels like Tennessee can win 10. The defense is good. I think the schedule is favorable. When you look at SEC schedules, it's difficult. It's tough. It's a gauntlet. But I think for Tennessee's playing 4 of the bottom 4 teams predicted in the order of finish in the SEC, and so that's good for Tennessee. So yeah, I mean the expectation is always to compete with anyone and everyone. No one was happy at all with how the Ohio State game went in the playoffs. They were the better team. They were going to win the game. They are the champions. But how Tennessee lost was something that's really unacceptable here at Tennessee. So, yeah, I mean, 8, 9, 10 wins. I think it depends on a few bounces here and there. It depends on the health of your football team.
Jayson, you've had a foot in both camps as we've talked about throughout this. So you tell me if this is a made-up media narrative or is this something that could be a rallying point? We've talked about throughout this entire conversation the quarterback change that happened for Tennessee, and some people on the outside no longer being believers because of that unknown quality at quarterback. Is that something that, Coach Heupel could say, hey, boys, they don't believe in us. Let's go. This is a rally cry. Or is that just something we just make up in the media that isn't talked about at all with the team in the locker room?
No, it's not made up. I mean, I think it's a fair and valid point. I mean, you're bringing in someone that came in May, and he had to learn a brand new system coming from Appy State to UCLA. And so when he got there at UCLA, I'm assuming he got there at the beginning of the winter offseason program in January. So he's cramming 3-4 months of new terminology, new offensive schemes from Appy State to UCLA. Now he switches over to Tennessee, and in May, he has to forget all that stuff at UCLA and learn brand new stuff at Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not easy to do. But Josh Heupel has done this before. He did this with Joe Milton when Joe Milton transferred from Michigan and Tennessee and arrived in his first year after the spring game. And Tennessee was able to be pretty good that year. The defense that wasn't that great. Tennessee did that with Hendon Hooker. Hendon Hooker transferred from Virginia Tech. He didn't have a lot of success there. The thing about Hendon had a little bit more time with the offense, but Heupel has taken quarterbacks that was pushed to the side, and he's had success with them. So I don't think it's a media narrative that's false. I mean, I think it's very fair. And I think if you're a player on this team, you hear it, you use it as motivation, you do what you can to help Joey be successful. That's the defense, that's the running game, that's the receivers on the outside, making it easy for Joey as possible.
Jayson, how do you look at Syracuse? We've played 3 times in history. The last time was 24 years ago, for God's sake. How do you guys in Tennessee look at little old Syracuse up here?
Well, I mean, the last time Tennessee played Syracuse is when Tennessee went on to win the national championship in '98. Fran Brown is a really dang good coach, man. He's intense. He was there on that Georgia staff, and we're very familiar with Georgia football and what they've been able to do over the last couple of years. That team last year Syracuse had was fun to watch. They was tough as all get out. I do know they lost a lot of production, probably more production than Tennessee. And when you're building like Fran is building, when you lose that type of production at a place like Syracuse, in my opinion, I think it's a little bit harder to bounce back than a place like Georgia, Alabama, or Texas, where you can just kind of reload. So it'll be interesting to see how he takes a brand new quarterback, takes brand new receiver that replacing a stud that went somewhere else because he wanted to get paid, which I don't blame him. But I do know that this team won't lay down. I thought NC State laid down last year when Tennessee played in a neutral site game against the ACC team. I don't think Syracuse is going to do that at all.
I don't know if you dabble in any of the Vegas stuff, but Vegas came out and said Tennessee's a 2-touchdown favorite opening line. It's now at 13.5 as we're doing this conversation. What do you make of that?
But I think it's fair. I think it's fair. I mean, when you play against SEC teams, especially Tennessee right now, entering Josh Heupel's 5th season, so he's had several recruiting classes for high school players. He's been able to address certain areas in the transfer portal. The trenches is where it's different. I mean, the depth on the defensive line is where it's different. There's not a huge drop off from first team to second team. The athleticism that you see on the defensive line, the size, the speed, the explosiveness, that's what's different whenever you play, an SEC team. I think the offensive line for Tennessee has a chance to be better than it was last year. And Dylan Sampson ran behind the offensive line, and it allowed him to break school records. It allowed him to win SEC Player of the Year. And so I think this running back room is deeper than last year. And so that's where it's going to be different, I think, for Syracuse. On the perimeter, hey, I think Syracuse can compete and hold their own, but I think the line is where it is right now because of that advantage I think Tennessee will have in the trenches.
Who are the straws that stir the drink for the Vols?
Oh, it's in the trenches, man. It's defensive line.
There. Okay.
It's offensive line. I mean, Josh Heupel's been able to run the football very successfully in the last couple of years. I mean, people look at the style of play with the wide splits and the tempo, and they automatically think, oh, it's air raid. It's nowhere close to air raid. This is a run first, smash you, run downhill type of offense. And because of the wide splits, you have to declare how many guys you have in the box. And if you don't have enough guys in the box, Tennessee's running it. If you put too many guys in the box with the wide splits, Tennessee is throwing it. I mean, it's really that simple, and it's allowed Heupel to be successful in his last 4 years. The second year here, he has the number 1 offense in the country. The last 2 years, the offense has been behind the defense, and this will be a good year for him to prove that offensively, he is what they say he is.
I love that. Any Dennis Green. They are who we thought they were. Damn it, we let them off the hook. Get some of that action here. Yeah, that's it, baby. So let me ask you, though. So they'll try to defeat some of those narratives, but last year I heard a lot of people saying that it was the Tennessee defense that was, sort of the identity. Is that once again, at least at the start of this season, the identity on the outside looking in for this year?
Yeah, 100%. Because you look at the receivers, the inexperience, quarterbacks, the inexperience, defense. You got everyone coming back. You plug and play. A player here and there. Colton Hood is a transfer from Colorado that's going to play on the outside because Jermon McCoy, the All-American, tore his ACL during the spring, and so, but he'll be a new piece. But everybody else is back, and so yeah, defense is where Tennessee hangs their hat on right now. And in the beginning of the season, defenses usually carry the weight while the offense gets their timing down, get their chemistry down, and then hopefully they hit midseason form as quick as possible with being able to connect on the outside in the passing game. But yeah, it's defense first for Tennessee.
Jayson, I read your very long resume here. I don't think I saw it on my paperwork, but we'll try to get you to play doctor here. You just mentioned Jermon McCoy. Is he just what's his status? When is he expected back for Tennessee?
I don't know exactly when he's going to be back. I know he's being very careful. I mean, we're talking about a guy right now that has a first-round grade as a corner. And so you want to be careful and not mess up his opportunity to take care of generations and generations with his family by pushing it and rushing back too soon. But he looks good last time I saw him at practice. So, I mean, I wouldn't think he would play.
Okay.
Because Tennessee plays Georgia week number 3, and you play ETSU week number 2. No offense to Syracuse. I think Tennessee can beat Syracuse without Jermon McCoy. So I don't think there's a reason to risk him getting hurt again. So I think he'll be back sooner than later, but I would be surprised if he plays against Syracuse.
Jayson, I appreciate that with all due respect, because obviously as soon as you say that, you're allowed to say whatever you want after that. That's just
Well, I mean, I like
sort of
Fran
the rules.
Brown, man. I
Yeah,
respect
I
him,
appreciate that.
but if Tennessee was playing last year's Syracuse team,
Mhm.
then we will be having a different conversation. But just losing all that you have lost and just kind of knowing how it works when you are a new coach and you lose those players, it takes a couple of recruiting classes to get to the point where when you lose guys, you can just reload.
Yeah,
And I know it's harder for Fran at Syracuse than it
for
was
sure.
when he was an assistant at Georgia. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
But I think his personality will wear off in this football team, and they won't lay down. They won't quit. I thought NC State last year did that and lay down, and I don't think Syracuse will do that. Now, if Tennessee doesn't play well, comes out, makes mistakes, hey, Tennessee might lose the game. But I think if Tennessee doesn't beat themselves, then I think Tennessee will be victorious.
Jayson, let's end there. Is there anything else in your preparations? Because, we've had a long time to think about this game, obviously, with the offseason. Anything from your notebook or studies or anything about Syracuse or this Syracuse-Tennessee game that you want to lay out here before we end our conversation?
Well, I think Syracuse will need to make plays in the special teams game. I mean, Tennessee special teams took a slide last year with punt coverage. I thought the punt return for opponents last year were a little bit better than it was in prior years. I think Syracuse will implement what a lot of opponents did against Tennessee last year and the year before, and that's playing that shell coverage where you keep everything in front, safeties high, not allowing the deep ball over the top. And I think if you do that and you force the quarterback to throw underneath and be accurate underneath, win on first downs, force some third and longs. Turnovers always help. I think there might be a chance for Syracuse, but if I'm hypo, man, I'm running the football until Syracuse proves that they can stop me, and I'm
Mhm.
protecting my young group on the outside. I'm protecting my first year quarterback, and seeing if I can win this game on the ground. But um, turnovers, penalties. Tennessee has been one of the most penalized teams year in and year out, and
Mhm.
in the last couple of years, because sometimes, hey man, they just get up to the line of scrimmage and trying to go fast, and there's a false start or there's a hold, or so penalties something to pay attention to. But trenches, man, got to hold up in the trenches. You're gonna have a chance.
That's it. Well, Jayson, I want to thank you so much for joining us. I'm glad you're on our side. It looks like you could be running out there right now in the shape you're in, for goodness sakes.
I
You
wouldn't
could
I
be
wouldn't say all
jumping in our
that.
lineup.
I don't know about all that now.
But Jayson, appreciate you, man. It should be a fun one, especially neutral. This is a cool opportunity for Syracuse against obviously a high level opponent here in the SEC. Was just in the gosh darn college football playoff last year. A lot of fun, man. So thanks for taking the time.
Oh, absolutely. Have fun in Atlanta. Everyone be careful in travels, and it'll be a fun one on Saturday.